3, 2, 1, 0.
What it do, star children of the internet? It is May 12th. Elevated Takes coming back at you live today. If you are listening on the podcast, please leave a review and let us know what you're thinking out there. Please, if you're listening on the YouTube, holy shit, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the page. Love to have you. RJ, how are you doing on this fine Wednesday afternoon?
I am doing great, and I'm so glad to see you chipper. I really thought that loss in the playoffs, the championship game would have just tanked you. But, I guess fantasy basketball is not everything to you. Your heart wasn't completely in it, I guess. So, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we can do this, and you're emotionally okay.
It's funny that the person who finished third is telling the person who's finished second that their heart wasn't completely in it. But hey, man, it was my first time playing fantasy basketball. So I'll take a second place finish. If my guys didn't decide to completely forget how to use their hands and fingers, then I think I would have been fine. But it's okay. Hey, everybody forgets how to use their digits sometimes. And my guys did last week. So shout out to Run TMCs. You ran away with it. Congratulations, man. You got the trophy all year wrong. All I can tell you, RJ, is I'm really happy that I kept him off 100 wins. He ended up with 99 cats for the season. I think that's a win for me. Next year, I'm going to take home gold. Let me tell you.
There you go. All right. Well, are you ready to start off with some hot shit?
Yeah, dude. What do you got for us today? What's burning on RJ's hot plate?
So, what's going on? This is in the news too, but it's kind of also my personal life. The Byron Nelson is in McKinney, Texas, which is where I reside.
Yeah, dude,
and
right down the street.
It's popping off, and some things that I think will be interesting about it is going to be the fact that we have had so much rain down here the past 2 days. We actually had to reschedule when we recorded this because you could hear the rain through my microphone. So it's going to be a really wet course. Yep. It's going to be interesting to watch, and I think it's interesting because I try to get tickets, right? But you would think because of COVID, you could get tickets to an event like that. Nope. No chance, completely dude. Sold out. There's only 4 tickets on the aftermarket, and they are all over $900.
Yeah.
So I will not be attending.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you boys aren't big enough to get a press pass yet. What the fuck's up with that? You think our 17 subscribers on YouTube would be a streamline to the press pass, but apparently that's just not how it goes.
Well, I mean, by the time this episode comes out, we'll probably be closer to 30. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's great for the economy down here. And it's cool seeing the traffic and stuff like that, seeing the people, like the restaurants are just popping right now. But that's my first one. My second one is the Jaguars. They signed Tim Tebow to a 1-year deal. Some people are like, oh, gross. How are you going to... Okay, some people are like Shady over here. Like, oh, that's gross. Why? It's only a 1-year deal, just basically get him to training camp. They have no tight ends. He has a connection with Urban Meyer. Why not? They're not locked into it at all. I think it's interesting. The guy has been staying in shape. He was in the minors, which I'm not saying the minors is the best place in the world, but it's more physically active than other places. He was one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time, and that's obviously a different debate. Maybe an elevated take later on down the road. But when he came out of the draft, people were saying if he switched tight end, he could further his career. They said tight end or middle linebacker. Now he's trying tight end. He'll probably get cut during training camp, but I'm not going to hate on the guy.
Yeah, all I'll say on that is that you will definitely be hearing about that later in the podcast. I think we will definitely be talking about that later on this podcast. Okay, I can guarantee you that.
Interesting. Well, yeah. Shady, what is your hot shit then?
So my hot shit is actually, sports related and not like wannabe football player related. Jaylen Brown, small forward shooting guard for the Boston Celtics, is out for the rest of the season with a wrist injury, basically absolutely shattering any hopes that the Celtics had on making a Cinderella run to the championship. I mean, the Celtics have obviously been a perennial competitor really since Brad Stevens took the helm, and those youngins actually started learning how to play basketball, and Tatum and Jaylen Brown. and it sucks. Like I'm not necessarily a Celtics fan, but I just love it when good basketball teams compete in this era of super teams. And the fact that the Celtics have been able to breed a team without like having to recruit a bunch of people. In fact, they do better off when they don't. Like when they brought Kyrie and he kind of shat the bed for him.
Mm-hmm.
So it does bum me out to see a team like that that's so young and so easily could really make a splash in the playoffs, and usually does, kind of have their hopes dashed this early on just because he's kind of out for the rest of the season. So that really sucks. But other than that, hopefully that just gives some of the other people on that team an opportunity to rise. And I want to see Tatum drop 50 a night. That's where I'm at with him getting hurt.
Yeah, I mean, Kemba was hurt all year, and that kind of hurt him. And when he came back, their team just, I believe Brown actually was injured during that time period when he came back. So it was always been a mixture of who's playing which night, never having all their guys out on the field, out on the court. And then you also have to add the fact that they got Evan Fournier in a deal, trying to boost their roster, to put them over the next level, get them a sharp shooter. Well, he ended up not being that sharp, and then he got COVID, and they basically traded away for nothing, and now their team's done. It's kind of sad to see, but I mean, I don't know where their standings are. They're probably out of the playoffs by now.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say that I ever feel bad for Danny Ainge just because he is usually so money as a GM, but this year has not played out the way that he wanted. That Terry Rozier trade for Kemba, literally a nightmare scenario for them. I know Kemba was hurt all year, but that does not change the fact that Kemba's just kind of been garbage city USA. Like Kemba he has not been the Kemba that we've seen in Charlotte, and he sure as shit has not been anything close to the value that Kyrie Irving brought, even when they were losing with Diva Kyrie on the squad in the locker room. So is what it is. I don't think I hope Fournier starts playing better for his own career. I mean, his field goal percentages literally took a nosedive as soon as he got to the green and white. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But anyway, Jaylen Brown out for the rest of the season with the wrist injury. Moving on, and the much spicier hot shit that I have for everybody today, Medina Spirit, winner of the Kentucky Derby 2 weekends ago, has failed his initial drug testing for betamethasone, which is obviously a performance-enhancing drug that apparently horses take, because that's a thing. And if he fails again, so they're going to appeal it, he has to take the original the blood sample, take another drug test. If he fails it again, then the purse and the race itself will go to the runner-up, which was a horse by the name of Mandaloon. So Mandaloon might be the Kentucky Derby winner, and also the jockey who ran Medina Spirit will end up losing what he was a record. It was basically a record for the most Kentucky Derbies, and that will go away if this fails again. Like I said, they're appealing it. We'll see how it all shakes out. But what do you think about that, man? What do you think about the winner of the mid julep race going rogue?
Why are we juicing these horses, man? These are always like the best horses in the world. Do they need to be juiced? Like, it's just ridiculous. I thought the race was interesting. The favorite did not win, so you always gotta like that. Yep. I really hope it's not. I hope it comes back as a negative, because it's just not good for the horse racing scene. And I like horse racing. I think it's fun. I think putting a couple dollars on each horse, or however you want to do it, it's a lot of fun. And if you've ever been to a horse racing track, it's like you can feel it. It's a great environment. It's not great for the sport. I'm hoping for the best outcome.
Yeah, it's a great environment if you're super rich. But other than that, I just think I like you. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head for me, where it's like, why are we juicing these horses? Like, in what world do you think you're going to get away with dosing your horse with performance enhancers? So, like, honestly, dude, this kind of smells a little bit like Epstein didn't kill himself to me, bro. I'm feeling like somebody juiced this horse, like, post-race, or they probably take those tests pre-race. I don't know how the fucking Kentucky Derby works, but I think there's some collusion going on here, bro, so that this guy doesn't take the record of that jockey doesn't take the record of Kentucky Derby wins. But who knows? Hey, man, that is allegedly, that is completely a shady take right there. So I cannot say I have any proof behind that, but it just smells a little fishy to me. And the worst part about that news for show is all the people who bet on Mandaloon to win that race. Those bets are gone, baby. Like those books are closed. Everyone who bet on Medina Spirit, even if he comes back, like millions and millions of dollars, all gone. Even if the race you bet on won, that sucks, and that's why I'm not a gambler. I'll tell you that.
Such a bad beat.
It really is a bad beat. The baddest beat. But RJ, now that we're done talking about the Derby, Jaylen Brown, and a tight end who isn't even a fucking tight end, you got some elevated takes for us? You ready to bring us to the clouds, bro?
I do have an elevated take. I'm ready whenever you are.
All right, bro. Well, I am ready to be elevated right now. Go.
Baseball is the most entertaining it has ever been right now. If you love great pitching, this is the MLB you want to watch. If you love great hitting,
hell yeah,
this is the MLB you want to watch, okay? We've had 4 no-hitters already this year. 5 if you count Madison Bumgarner's, but we're not counting Madison Bumgarner's because it was in a doubleheader. Well, gee, RJ, doubleheader, that's just 2 games in right. No, because baseball changed it. The MLB changed it, so doubleheaders are only 7 innings, making the experience more watchable. Sitting down for almost 6 hours watching baseball, that's rough. They weren't getting a huge market on that. Making it 7 innings changes the game plan, changes the pitching. Madison Bumgarner going for 7, that's a great feat. It's not counted. So, you already have 4 no-hitters. That's a great pace. Now, that was the pitching. Let's talk about the hitting. In 2010, there was 4,613 total home runs. We're going to go 10 years later. In 2020, now this was a COVID season, we had 6,776. That is over 2,000 more home runs in a 10-year span, okay? These balls are flying out of the park. And last year, people were saying, oh, these balls got to be juiced. Oh, they're juicing the balls. The balls are just lighter. The pitchers, they're letting it go. Well, guess what? We're having the same rate this year of home runs. Very similar. We're on the same pace to hit that number. And we're also having great pitching, like I stated earlier. So it's really fun to watch. And people are like, well, they're juicing the balls and people are stealing signs. Who wants to watch baseball like that? Me. People stealing signs has been the most entertaining thing you have ever seen. I challenge you to watch a Houston Astro games and count how many times each player is booed, because you will lose count. It is amazing watching all these crowds and even MLB players. They hate the Astros. They absolutely hate what they did. Disrespected the game, but it creates drama. And guess what? We love drama. We are all about drama. So that is why I love this sign stealing. So now, what else can you like? So if you like the Astros solely to hate them, you can like the Padres because they are the ultimate swagger team. All they do, their whole lineup is basically full of dudes who just hit dingers. They just knock out of the park. They're the team that throws the bat. They're the team that gives the stare down. They got the swagger, they got the moxie, whatever you want to say. They're fun to watch, and they're a nice team to root for. So, unlike other leagues, though, every team right now, unless you're the Tigers who are absolute hot dog water, you have a chance to win the title. The 2 main teams each and every year, the Yankees, they're bad. They're really not in contention. And the LA Dodgers have lost 5 straight series. So, more than likely your team has a chance to make a playoff run, especially if your team is the Cardinals, who currently hold the second best record in all of baseball. That is my time. I concede the rest. Shady, what do you got for me?
Hey man, I like it. Really clear, concise. You beat 20 seconds on the time. Dude didn't even need 3 minutes to make a point. So the last thing that you said was 1,000% accurate in that the St. Louis Cardinals will definitely win the World Series this year.
I didn't say that.
Oh, I mean, we all heard it. So let's look back on the camera, and we will see that RJ definitely said that the St. Louis Cardinals are going to win this year, and I'm down with it, man. I'm down with it. I don't know. So ratings this year are definitely up. I think as of April 20th this year, they were up 22% from last year and up 35% from 2019, which is fantastic because the numbers have the World Series numbers over the past few years have been horrible. I think 2020 World Series had 10 million viewers. The 2019 had 14 million viewers, and 2018 had just over 14 million viewers. So it's been slowly declining over time. Now, whether you want to attest that to the fact that like the pandemic hit and then people were just so excited now that we can actually go watch baseball again, that might be a whole nother conversation. But I will tell you that like when we were saying like, oh, these baseballs are juiced, like the MLB did change the baseballs this year. So like it's clear that the baseballs have been changed by the MLB this year, and it's assisting the pitchers, which, like you said, the stats that you just read off, like it's clear that that's a thing. But we talked about it on the last podcast, dude. I'm all here for it, man. I am all here for pitching matches because I think that's the fun part of the game. Like I want to, like you said, and sign stealing. As far as, so don't get me wrong, fuck the Astros. Like, I have no desire to watch the Astros because they did it sneaky. They were like, we're going to watch the tape, we're going to talk about it, we're going to have our own signals, and then we're going to cheat. Like, that's really what it is we're fucking cheating. It's no different than Bill Belichick back in the 2000s watching defensive tape and signals and doing that stuff. So if you want to run that dynasty through the mud, you definitely got to shit on the Astros. And this isn't even part of your take, but I do want to bring this up because you just brought up the cheating ass Astros. Okay. Didn't they just like send a letter to the commissioner's office that's like, hey, everyone's being mean to us. Yep. Everyone's being mean. Stop jeering us. It's like, how about you don't fucking cheat, you losers? What do you think that's going to do? What do you think? But other than that, right? Yeah, they're going to send out a memo. Like, you think they're going to punish fans? How are they going to punish fans? Raising ticket prices? Like, come the fuck on.
People are just going to yell at them more. It's great. It's great to watch. That's what I'm saying. This season is the most entertaining. Whether you love pitching, whether you love hitting, or whether you love drama, this is the season for you. If you want to get into baseball, try now, because I can't think of a season that had so much going on.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I don't know. The biggest problem with baseball to me is just the ownership. Like, the owners of these baseball teams don't really. Fair. I just don't think that they connect with, like, for example, the trailblazer in that regard is the NBA, right? The NBA, the owners of the teams are very involved. They're very progressive. They let the players speak up. They make it about the players. Where in baseball, the players make it about the players and the fans make it about the players, but the teams don't at all. Like, it's crazy to me the way that a lot of these teams operate from a promotional perspective, and what they prioritize organizationally. For example, I think that the Angels doing what they did to Pujols, who of course is a Cardinals great, so I'm always gonna love Pujols, but the way that they did him dirty, like I think it was last week, really, when they cut his ass. And with just the disrespect, man, the Rodney Dangerfield disrespect, I just can't have it, bro. Albert Pujols. Like square-bodied Pujols, like stand up in the box and knock it out of the park anytime you give him anything in the box. Pujols, you're gonna do dirty like that? I don't care how old he is. So the disrespect from the owners gets to me. People like the Astros get to me. But if a guy is standing at the plate and he's like side eyeing the catcher to see what the signal's gonna be, I love that shit. I think that's fun. Like I think that's, and then I want to see the pitcher get pissed and throw him off the plate. You know what I mean? Like that shit's dope. But like organizationally constructed cheating, fuck that music. But like individual guys, I actually like it. I think it adds a lot of character to the game.
It is part of the game. Now the organizational cheating, that's not part of the game. That is cheating, and that's why the Astros are hated and pooped upon as much as anyone can. They're just, like I said, watch a game, people are banging trash cans, which not gonna get into that. But yeah, that was my elevated take. You got anything else?
Nah, man. I think it's a good one, and I completely agree with you. The Cardinals are definitely going to win the World Series, 100%.
I said they are making the playoffs and they're leading, but okay, sure, that's what your ears heard. Fine. All right. Are you ready for your elevated take?
I am ready for my elevated take, and I think you know what's coming.
Well, I mean, we had a little bit of a spotlight on it, but all right, your time, it starts now.
Fuck Urban Meyer. Fuck the Jaguars and fuck Tim Tebow, okay? I am so sick of this shit. How many hundreds of tight ends who have worked their entire life to be a tight end in the league are just getting shit on because even a guy like this is given an opportunity like this. Like, come on. When was the last time he did a passing drill in a professional setting? When was the last time anybody actually took his 40? Anytime a scout legitimately saw him take a 40? He was literally playing baseball and couldn't even excel at that. Like, when Michael did it, he played for the same guy who was the owner of the Bulls, and he like let him walk onto the team. Yeah, that was a Cinderella thing, and he was the greatest basketball player of all time up to that point. And so you're just going to allow some guy who, yes, he was an all-star at Florida, played under Urban Meyer, and I'll give you, he's the second best college quarterback I've ever seen with my eyes. I'm a Vince Young guy, and I'll be a Vince Young guy until the day that I die. Okay, he had the greatest college career of any quarterback ever, but the season that Vince Young took down the USC dynasty and Pete Carroll and Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush and Lendale White and that defense was the greatest single athletic quarterback I've ever seen in the league. So Tim Tebow's number 2. That double pump, yeah, it was sweet. Okay, the dude loves God. Hey man, God clearly looked out for you. You won a championship and won the Heisman as a sophomore, I believe. And so like I understand the drive to want to put him in this. And this isn't even that elevated of a take. I feel like basically anyone who knows anything about football right now is pretty pissed off about it, just because you see them make or break it. Like, you were even talking about it in one of your elevated takes not too long ago about how these kids like lives are on the fucking line during the draft, and just getting an opportunity to talk to these teams after working day in and day out and blood, sweat, tears, everything that they can do because they've trained every single day since they were 6 years old to be a tight end. And you're going to go out there and just give this this beautiful dimpled man like this chance just because he was a great quarterback back in the day. Who even knows if he has fucking hands? Have you ever seen Tim Tebow catch a pass? I haven't. I'm sure Urban Meyer has in practice or whatever, but that's not enough for me. I don't know the Jacksonville GM. I didn't research it because I'm so furious about this that I just went red as soon as I saw the story, and I knew it was going to be my elevated take. I didn't even want to do research. I didn't even want to find out any additional information on this because I knew what I felt, and I feel like this is horseshit. Hundreds and hundreds of kids should have gotten this opportunity to run routes and catch passes for that new quarterback
15.
that they just drafted from Clemson, who has to show the world what he's made of. Why are we giving Tim Tebow 14 fucking chances to be a professional athlete when he's proven time and time again that he can't be? Get his ass out of the league forever.
Okay, see, like, when you give a take like that, I don't know where to take it. Like, do I put more fuel onto the fire, or do I try to go back at you? Because you made some good points. And does Tim Tebow deserve this shot? I don't know. But I'm not going to argue the fact, like, he is a premier athlete. He stayed in shape. The whole hands thing, the whole tight end thing, cool. I'm with you on he might not be it, but him getting a shot is whatever. Now, there is plenty. You are 100% correct. There's plenty of other people who deserve this shot. He had his shot and it came and passed. So let me put some more fuel on the fire because I think that'd be fun.
Hell yeah.
Do you know where Tim Tebow lives?
Probably in Florida, I reckon.
Yeah. Do you know who lives like 3 houses down from him?
Is it fucking Urban Meyer?
It is Urban Meyer.
It's bullshit.
It is.
God. This is just nepotism, bro. That's all this shit is fucking nepotism.
It very well could be. I think it's a fun story because, like, how many times will Tebow come back from the dead? But he's back, and he has a pretty successful career on the SEC network doing college football on Saturdays. So, like, he doesn't need to do this. It tells me he has a passion. But I want to figure out who, I'm sure we could look it up, where Hard Knocks is going, because it would be awesome to go there and see all this going on. Like, that would make Hard Knocks watchable.
What you want to watch the Hard Knocks sermons that Tim Tebow's putting on for that team? All right, everybody get down. We're gonna pray to the Lord that we're not gonna go 0-16 this year with a rookie ass quarterback and a tight end who's never played fucking tight end before. Like, okay, I'm clearly very passionate about this, and really what it's rooted in the fact that how is it that Tim Tebow can get a fucking quarterbacking position and get a a broadcasting position, get a baseball position, and then back in the fucking NFL, and Colin Kaepernick takes a fucking knee, and just because he is Colin Kaepernick, he doesn't get any more athletic opportunities. You want to talk about him still being a hyper athlete? Tim Tebow was getting a little swole in those suits on the SEC network, bro. I watched workouts of Colin Kaepernick constantly. You're telling me he's not a top-notch athlete? You're telling me he couldn't catch passes? Shit, he's longer than Tim Tebow is and a little bit faster. So it blows my, that's really what it comes down to for me, is why is Colin Kaepernick still sitting at home twiddling his thumbs because he took a social justice stance that 5 years down the line literally ended in fucking riots and the entire nation exploding. And Tim Tebow gets 10 fucking tries to do something that he's already gotten the opportunity to do and failed. And everyone with an eye for the game took a look at and said, no, he's not good enough. And then Colin Kaepernick, there was hundreds of people who thought, no, he's still definitely fucking good enough, and he's still sitting on his couch. That's what drives me insane more than anything, man.
Colin Kaepernick did have a couple workouts where teams signed him. Now, I'm not here to debate Colin Kaepernick. That's a whole different elevated take. What I will say is it's no coincidence that the only team giving Tim Tebow a chance is his old coach / like father figure. Like, I know he has his own dad, but like, it seems like a father-son relationship. They damn near
he has his own dad.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, for real.
I know what you mean. I
mean, they live doors down from each other, so I think this is more of a nepotism problem than a social justice issue problem or a Kaepernick problem. Kaepernick can try out with all these other teams, and I don't know what Kaepernick, I don't stay up to date. I don't follow his Twitter or anything like that, so maybe he is trying out with other teams. I don't know. But there is no coincidence that it's only the Jaguars who are interested in Tim Tebow. That's it. No other team has even considered it.
I just don't think it's okay, though. Like, and I wasn't trying to make it about social justice. I'm trying to make it about the fact that he's getting an opportunity at all, and not only that, but he's getting an opportunity with a rookie head coach. Like, and the league is like cool with that. Like, they're not like turning an eye to it and say, hey, there's literally 400 other tight end recruits. Like, Urban, this is your first year in the fucking big leagues. You don't want to do something, or anybody else in the Jaguar room. Like,
yeah, no,
he's not even like it. Just okay. I'm gonna cool off because it's clear that I am very passionate about this, and I don't understand why. Again, Tim Tebow's getting the opportunity when there's a million kids. There's guys like Kaepernick. There's other tight ends. The guy from Kansas City who just had his entire salary converted to Bitcoin just got cut by Kansas City. Give him a fucking call. Give that guy a call.
Is Colin Kaepernick, is he trying out at other positions? I haven't heard that.
I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. I'm sure he would, though. I'm sure he would.
I don't know.
But either way, it doesn't matter. Why don't we move on? Let's move on to something that, this is something that we kind of foreshadowed here a couple weeks ago, ladies and gentlemen, and we want to get on a topic that's a little less heated. So, RJ, are you ready for the point guard dream draft?
Yes, I am. I know we teased it a couple episodes ago. Well, here it is. You know, will Russell Westbrook. That was the whole thing we talked about, because a coach, Russell Westbrook's coach, who was with him through the Thunder days and now with him in the Washington Wizard days, said he was a top 5. I believe he said top 5.
He would go down as the second best point guard of all time behind Magic Johnson.
Okay, so what we're doing is a dream draft. We're each picking 5 point guards basically off their stats of this season, of, you know, how they played, how they're moving to their team. So it might not just be like, okay, this guy just has the best stats. It could also be like, hey, his team chemistry might not have shown up on the stat sheet, but he was a guy who was very valuable to that team. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir. And it's all point guards. So we're going to take 5 picks, 1 through 5. Every single pick is going to be a point guard. And we are going to go so that there is no confusion on who a point guard is and who isn't. There are a couple rules. Number 1, we are only going to be able to pick point guards who are designated as a point guard in most fantasy basketball leagues. So if you are able to plug them in at the PG spot, that counts as our people. Rule number 2. LeBron James does not count because he could play 1 through 5. We cannot choose LeBron James, okay? So he will not be chosen. I think that's all the rules that we have for the point guard dream draft. Am I forgetting anything there, RJ, before we dive in?
No, that's it. Do you want to pull up a coin flip simulator to see who goes first?
Ooh, that's a good idea. Or I'll just flip a fucking coin.
Oh, look at this guy. He's got the coins already. Let's do it.
Oh, it's
I'll
not a
call
coin,
it.
it's a dice. You're going to call even or odds. You're going to call even or
All right.
odds, all right?
All right.
All right.
Odds.
It is 3. There's no fucking way you can see it, but because it's his, I'm going to assume that I'm not. You're going to have to assume that I'm not lying. It is 3. RJ has the number 1 pick in the 2021 Elevated Takes Point Guard Dream Draft. RJ, you are on the clock. Who do you choose?
Well, it may not be a surprise because of the elevated take I had not too long ago, but I'm going to take Steph Curry from the Golden State Warriors.
Overrated.
No.
Overrated.
He is killing it. He had 83 pointers in the last month. I don't really need to defend this. I'm not going to defend this. It's really not a hard decision. He's the best. I think he's the second fantasy basketball player out of all the parents right now. So like there's no controversy
currently
here.
ranked number 3 on Yahoo Fantasy Sports.
Okay.
So
3.
Number 3. Get your
take
fucking
that.
stats right, bro.
Yep, you're right. Okay. Who do you have for the second pick? Or your first pick?
So my first pick, solely because he's not my favorite point guard, but sure as shit, I need scoring and I need a guy who's gonna be able to compete with Mr. Curry off the dribble. So I'm gonna have to go, hey man, number 0, Dame Lillard.
Damn.
Portland Trailblazers. Numero dos. Choice for me. Because, dude, Dame time is just too fucking good, man. Like, when he wants to be...
Yeah.
When he wants to be, Dame time is just a killer, stone cold killer, and I'd take him on any team, to be honest with you. He's not a very good defensive threat, but at the end of the day, when playoffs come down to the brass tacks, I want number 0 taking those shots, and I love him. So
that would have been my pick, but that was that's the guy who I had behind Steph, so that's great. So that leaves me with my second pick, and I'm going to take Luka. Shocker! I mean, he's my favorite player, so I mean,
he's
like, he's
your
on
guy.
the board.
He's kind of your guy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take him. So I ain't got much to say except he's Luka.
Hey man, I get it. All right, so number 4 choice in the point guard dream draft, going to Shady squad. I am going to throw a curveball at you, Mr. RJ, I believe, and I am going to choose the lockdown perimeter clutch ass man himself, number 21, Drew Holiday, Milwaukee Bucks. And let me tell you, dude, Drew Holiday was one of those. Drew Holiday was one of those guards for me. I'm a defensive guy, baby. I'm a defensive guy all day. I want to be able to shut your asses down. I want Luka to be trapped on the top of the wing and just chucking up threes, because that's exactly what he'd be doing against Drew Holiday, especially if my other point guards, or my other guard on the team is Damian Lillard, who can't really play a lick of defense. So his ability to steal, his ability to block, his ability to get rebounds, he got close to a double-double constantly throughout the year. I just think if Giannis wasn't on that squad, Drew Holiday would have been a top 10 player in scoring anyway. So I take Drew Holiday. Shoot, number 4.
I'm not going to hate on it. Because he was on my list. So yeah, he's great. That's just really high, but that's great. So that leaves me with Ben Simmons for my third pick. I'm also going to take a defensive guy. I'm not taking the best shooter. I have the best shooter already. So I'm taking a great defender who is probably the best cutter, if you want to say that, to the rim. Like, yeah, I'm taking Ben Simmons.
Yeah, you just better pray he ain't got to shoot no jump shots for you, bro.
Yeah, he shouldn't on my team.
Not with all point guards, I suppose, but yeah, no, Ben Simmons. If we truly are building a team of all 5 point guards, Ben Simmons is definitely the way to go, because he's a tower. He can lock down the paint if it's just point guard v point guard. And yeah, he's a fantastic passer. So I can't hate you there. I just think he's way too inconsistent for my team. He'll drop 40 and 10, and then he'll randomly just have 2 points and 6 assists. Oh, so I definitely. He ain't got it up here. He ain't got it up here for me. And I've also seen arguments this year that Matisse Thybulle is the best fucking point guard on that team from a defensive perspective. Anyone who thinks that Matisse Thybulle is a better defender than Ben Simmons, just stop watching basketball. Just like
Yeah,
get
that's a
away from the
ridiculous
sport
take.
in general.
That's not.
Like, yes,
that's not an elevated take. That's not an
yes,
elevated take. That's a
Yes,
stupid take.
Thibel's great. Yes, Thibel's great. Did I pick him up to get some extra steals, and did he drop 5 on one night during championship week? Yes. But did I win championship week? No. Fuck you, Matisse. You screwed me. You screwed me.
Okay, so I picked Ben Simmons. Where are you looking?
All right. So, pick number 5, 2021. Point guard dream draft elevated takes. Shady's squad is going to have to take. I mean, you left him on the board. How could I not? James Harden.
Yep.
Brooklyn
Yep,
Nets. Get in here. Get over here, man. You can have Kyrie all you want. I don't want that. I don't want that jelly in my locker room. He's a little too cloudy. James is to the point in his career where he wants to win. That dude wants to win ball games, and he is going to help me beat your squad. So James Harden, come on over here. Take that jump back all you want. Manipulate today's rules all you want. Get the free throw line 40 times a game. Daddy wants it. So James Harden.
Okay, that's a great pick. I like James Harden. He's on my list. He made the list. Some people who you've talked about have not made my list. So, my next pick, the 6th pick overall, is going to be someone who is a little contested, but I really just want to pay him respects and just put him in the spotlight. And this is Terry Rozier. He has been amazing this year.
Damn, I love Terry. Although it is the 7th pick because RJ can't do math. So
true, facts. So whatever pick it was, that's the one I just did. And so Terry Rozier, if you haven't, their season's basically over, or their season's getting close to being over now, depending on the play-ins. But he has been great. He's been a great facilitator. He's been a great mentor too, with LaMelo Ball, who we've talked plenty about. He's fantastic. That's all I'm going to say.
No, he absolutely is, and I really have no complaints about that pick. Terry was on my list for sure. I was going to choose him if you didn't.
Sweet.
Yeah, so no doubt about it. You chose him in the right spot because he was probably the next one off the board for me. I was probably going to scoop his ass right up. Yeah, Terry, like I even brought it up earlier on the podcast. That was one of the worst trades that Danny Ainge has made probably since I've seen his tenure here at the Boston Celtics. Like, he was just this little ball of potential that the Celtics didn't see. And dude, I saw it. To be honest with you, even when he was at the Celtics, I knew that kid could ball. So watching them let him go to Charlotte, but to be honest, man, Charlotte's become one of my squads. Like, I love Charlotte.
Really fun to watch.
A lot of that is because of, in fact, RJ actually wrote an article about that, how dope the Charlotte Hornets have become. So go over to the website, www.elevatedtakes.com, check out the opinions tab, and you can see how RJ tried to make the opinion that, hey man, MJ's built a winner over there in Charlotte, check her on out. Speaking of that, the next choice, pick number 8 in the 2021 Point Guard Dream Draft. Shady's team selects Lonzo Ball, rookie. Come on over here, my man. I want you on my squad, dishing to the shooters that I've seen because he can lock it down, dude. He's got great hands on defense. He can make any pass. He's a much better three shooter. LaMelo Ball. I think I said Lonzo.
Okay, you did say Lonzo.
I always fuck that shit up. I always fuck that shit up. He's a much better shooter than Lonzo Ball. But yeah, LaMelo Ball. Get on over here. You're on my squad. 8th pick.
LaMelo Ball.
Point guard dream draft. LaMelo Ball.
So, that's really interesting. We, 2 point guards for the same team. I was not expecting that.
And they're a shitty team.
Yeah.
they're not a very good team either, but they got the guards down, bro. They know how to pick guards, I guess.
So, I believe this is my last pick. Math is not my
pick
strong
number
suit.
9. Yes.
So, I'm really stuck between 3 guys, and I want to pick I want to pick each one of them for a different reason. One has just been really good and kind of revitalized his career. One, I think he needs a little bit of a morale boost, and I guarantee you he's a listener. And the other guy has been balling out, and injuries kind of ruined his season. And I'm going to pick him because he easily would have been on this list. And that is Freddie Van Fleet. He was absolutely killing
choice.
it.
Good
He was
choice.
absolutely killing it this year, and then he got hurt. There is not a team that would have passed on him. He was absolutely amazing. He had He had several 50-point games. There was one week where I think he scored 120 points in that fantasy basketball week. He was great. This guy,
no doubt. No,
I mean,
no,
he's
Freddie
the
Van
future
Fleet.
of their team.
I don't know if I would say he's the future just because I think his ceiling is so limited. I mean, he's Muggsy Bogues 2.0, you know? Like I will say that I don't think he gets nearly enough credit for what he did in the playoffs on the Kawhi Leonard run
The
when
Kawhi team. Yeah.
when they brought the first championship to Toronto, Canada, period. He was magical during that entire playoffs. When they needed a shot, he hit the shot. Everyone wants to talk about Kawhi hitting that big-ass shot in the Eastern Conference Finals to send Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons home. Yes, it was one of the greatest buzzer beaters of all time, but Fred Van Fleet hit a lot of big-time shots in that series, and he did not get the credit he deserved. And the fact that he's been keeping it up. Also, remember, kids, the dude, like, walked out, right? So he wasn't drafted. He was an undrafted free agent, and he got signed big bucks by Masai Ujiri out there in Toronto. Because he just worked his ass off, man. He worked his ass off and he got there. And you cannot give enough credit to a guy like Fred Van Fleet. Fantastic choice for the 9th pick of the 2021 Point Guard Dream Draft. So I will finish it out here. We are on the last pick number 10, all point guards. The last guy, and I think this guy is going to make it so that Shady's team will defeat RJ's team for many years to come. Yes, I got LaMelo. He's a youngin', and he'll be dishing and diming for a long time and picking Steph Curry's pocket every single chance that RJ has to bring it down the court. But the last guy I'm going to choose here, I think, is a diamond in the rough. Played fantastic this year, and he'll play fantastic for me. And that is one of Greg Popovich's favorites, DeJounte Murray at the Spurs. I love this kid, man. If you got the chance to watch him play at all this year, DeJounte Murray is a hell of a ball player, and I can't wait to see what he does with that team. The Spurs were a team that I could not stand because they basically ended any chance that the Pistons had to be a successful team in the mid-2000s. Yes, they went to a million Eastern Conference Finals, but I want fucking chips, and the only one they got was against the Lakers. And the Spurs were their bane, and so I hated the Spurs until I grew up, and you realize what greatness looks like, especially greatness like that. And now it's consistency and it's discipline, right? Yep. And that's what you get. And when I look at DeJounte Murray, he reminds me a lot of those Spurs teams. He reminds me a lot of like the Manu Ginobilis, the Tony Parkers, the Tim Duncans, like what it takes to be a champion. DeJounte Murray embodies, and I want him in my locker room. So 10th pick, final pick, 2021 Point Guard Dream Draft, DeJounte Murray, San Antonio Spurs.
I love it. I mean, he was on the top of my I also made like an honorable mentions list that we can kind of run through at the end of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he was on the top because I wasn't going to draft him unless, certain things fell a certain way. But 100%, if you watch their games, you can tell, like, this is a dog. This guy can play. He is a great building block for them. It just really sucks that he's surrounded by nobodies / has-beens.
Horseshit.
And that's just what it is.
Dude, why isn't Rudy Gay still on that squad? Why is Rudy Gay still in the league? Why is Rudy Gay? Why is Patty Mills still on that team when you got DeJounte Murray sitting
DeMar
there?
DeRozan's still on that team, and I haven't heard that name in a while, so that kind of tells you what he's been doing. He hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been anything stand out.
He hasn't been terrible, but shit, he drove Lamar Aldridge into retirement. Like shit,
Yeah.
Lamar Aldridge got bought out, signed with the Brooklyn, and okay, that is completely wrong. LaMarcus Aldridge ended up having some problems health-wise, and that's why he ended up retiring after dropping out of the Spurs and then signing with the Brooklyn Nets, trying to go on a championship run with them. Got into some health problems, figured his life was more important than a stupid sport, which he was right. LaMarcus Aldridge is a baller. I loved watching him at the Trailblazers back in the day.
He's made his money.
Also a UT alum. Absolute money. But, yeah, he could, Aldridge literally got bought out because he lost his love for the game, and the leader of that team was DeRozan. So who can you put that on? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you got to put that on him.
I live in Texas, so I've seen a couple of their games, and Aldridge would just not rebound. He's just that's just not for me anymore. I've done that. I've been there. I've seen things, people. That ain't me. It ain't never gonna be me again. So they bought him out. Like you were saying, Shady. He lost his love for the game, and once the injury, that health part, I'm not going to call it injuries. Once the health part got into it, he just said it wasn't for me. Do you want to go through, do you have any honorable mentions?
I do. Oh yeah, I still got some guys on the list. First honorable mention that I will mention, De'Aaron Fox. I love De'Aaron Fox.
Ooh,
I love what he's doing over
not
at
on
the
my
Kings.
list.
I think he's going to end up as a top. I can see him being like a. I can see him being a Dame. Like I can see him ending up just destroying the
Jeez.
league in like 5 to. I mean, it'll be a while. I'm saying
I don't
like
see that.
5 to 6 years. You really don't? I mean, he's already based the pseudo leader of that team. It sure as shit ain't Buddy Hield. Like who else on that squad is going to lead them? I think you just pretty much just hate the Kings because you're not a Kings fan. And
No,
Halliburton,
I'm not a Kings fan.
Halliburton doesn't have the volume scoring capability, so I think it's got to be Fox, and I see a lot in him. I think he could be a great player.
I say
Who do you
save
got?
that because that's a pretty elevated take, and you might want to use that one later because I would love to do more research on that. One guy who I wanted to bring up, like I said, there's an older guy, Chris Paul.
Oh yes, dude!
Like
oh,
I really wanted to
year,
pick him,
baby.
but I wanted to give
This
Freddie
year.
Van Fleet his due. But Chris
Mhm.
Paul's had his due, so like I don't feel bad, letting him slide. He's been absolutely great. He's taken the Suns. They're second in the West, right? I didn't see that at the beginning of this year. Did you?
Insane, no, and we were high on the Suns because
And
we were
Booker.
like, oh, Booker,
Yeah.
Devin Booker all day, baby. He's gonna be a
Mhm.
monster. No, it's Chris Paul. Chris Paul has just been a winner everywhere that he's gone. I want to see him get a chip so bad, and if that happens this year, I will be a huge fan of that. Man, he deserves a ring. He deserves a ring. Chris Paul deserves a ring.
I agree. Do you have any more honorable mentions? I just have one.
One more. Oh, then yeah, I can definitely throw another one in there. And that would, I mean, shit. No one talked about him, so how could we not? No one drafted him, so how could we not throw him in? Kyrie Irving. Like nobody actually in the top 10 point guards. Nobody drafted Kyrie Irving. Like, yes, he's a lunatic, but the dude can fucking ball. Like we got to talk about him at least, right? So honorable mention Kyrie Irving for sure.
He's in my honorable mentions, and basically it was the whole mental aspect of it. Not saying he has mental problems, but he is a head case for the team. There's reports in the season saying he's just not going to come play. He had family issues, which I don't know what that was, but he was away for damn near a month. Then he was injured a lot. Just wasn't someone who I would want on my team this year. So that's kind of what I was going off. The last guy I have is just Trae Young. I think the team in Atlanta was built very poorly this year and not giving him a great chance to succeed. So, but he still did great. He still did great. So I had to give him some respect. Like I didn't draft him, but I'm just giving him his honorable mention.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't know, dude. I'll be honest with you, and I think that the rest of the league, from a player perspective, is starting to feel the same way that I do about Mr. Trae Young. And he just ain't it, dude. Like I'm sorry, he's not on my honorable mentions because I just think he ain't it. He's a volume shooter who's insanely inefficient. His defense is arguably the worst defense I've ever seen. Like there are some shit ass defensive players out there, and like remember like Isaiah Thomas. Remember Isaiah Thomas when he was going on his run with the Celtics? That dude couldn't play defense as far as you can throw him. I mean, he's only like 5'4" or whatever. He's much taller than that, but he looks that way. But dude, Trae Young, and I'm about to throw some serious shade here. Not only is Trae Young have the most broken good jump shot I've ever seen, like his little like flicks jump
cheat
shot.
Code.
Dude, I just can't watch him play basketball because his hair. Like, holy fuck, I hate watching him run up and down the goddamn court. It's like what are you doing, bro? Like, glue it on or some shit. Like, oh, it's crazy.
No, the Mavs always beat the Hawks whenever I watched them because they would do the simplest game plan, which would trap Trae Young as soon as he passes half court, and their whole offense just dissipates. Yep, I said that.
Dissipates, but yeah, dissipates.
Yeah, correct.
And as soon as John Collins went down, that entire team just shut the fuck down. Like because you're right, as soon as they trapped him, the game it's over. I don't think he's very good. He's not a malleable offensive player, and in the NBA, you have to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But either way, so just to wrap it up, 2021 Dream Draft selections, just hitting you back at it. Not talking about now that we're through our honorable mentions. Number 1 selection, Steph Curry, Golden State Warriors. Number 2 selection, Damian Lillard, Portland Trailblazers. Selection number 3, Luka Doncic, Dallas Mavericks. Selection number 4, Drew Holiday, Milwaukee Bucks. Selection number 5, Ben Simmons, Philadelphia 76ers. Selection number 6, James Harden, Brooklyn Nets. Get out of here. best step back 3 shooter in the game. Was that like a fat joke? Was that his man titties?
It's
Is that
beard. That's his beard.
Oh, it's
That's
the
his
beard. I literally thought, for those of you who don't know, James Harden came into the season not wanting to play for
fat.
Houston at all, and he was a little chunky. So I literally thought you were like, oh yeah, James Harden. That was my mistake. Selection number 6 going to RJ over there. Terry Rozier, Charlotte Hornets.
Scary Terry.
Next, I like that one. That one is a good one. I couldn't misconstrue it. That was definitely Scary Terry. Selection number 8, LaMelo Ball, also Charlotte Hornets. Selection number 9, Fred Van Fleet, and wrapping it on up, San Antonio Spurs. Selection number 10, DeJounte Murray. I think that was a good dream draft, bro.
Yeah, that was a solid dream draft. That went very well. I liked it.
I did too. We should definitely keep the dream drafts up. I like that. It's a good segment for us.
Something nice to have in the rotation. But ladies,
as long
and
as I don't
gentlemen,
fuck up the players, because
right?
I did get called out. Hey man, hey, the guy who called me out about the Notre Dame middle linebacker Owasu, you are 100% right. He did not go to Penn State like I said. Dude goes to Notre Dame. So thank you for calling me out. Anybody else out there want to call me out of my bullshit, because there's a lot of it, feel free to do so in the comments. So
yeah, you want to talk about how much we swear? Go ahead, right? Go ahead and talk about that in the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an episode of Elevated Takes. I would like to talk to you about liking and subscribing on Facebook and YouTube. And if you do all that, it really helps us out. Click the bell on YouTube. Can't tell you how great it is waking up and seeing how many views we have. Like, I don't know if Shady over here does it, but like, it's a game I play with myself. Like, I wake up, check my messages, and then I check the YouTube and see like what happened overnight. And it's always amazes me at what's going on. So and subscribe to YouTube.
I love waking up on my Facebook and seeing who's liked and subscribed to our Facebook. It's my favorite.
You never know.
It's my favorite. No, but he is right. Spot on. YouTube is dope. It's insane how much you guys have actually come out, and like the views that we're getting, the likes that we're getting, the comments that we're getting. Thank you guys so much. Can't tell you how much we appreciate it.
Yeah. And so our goal this episode is to get 3 shares. 3 shares from people. So hopefully we'll be able to get that. We're really trying to get the subscriber base up, but we appreciate all the help and all the love you all giving us. Check out the Twitter at Elevated Takes. Check out the website, elevatedtakes.com. Shady, you got something for them?
No, just as always, man, world's still sucking. Gas prices are skyrocketing. I can't afford to finish my deck because plywood is just going through the roof. Can't afford wood. But other than that, if you just need somebody to talk to, if you're just, you really want to get some anger out or anything at all, go to the website, go to contact us, hit us up. We love to talk about anything and anything, because like I always say, just because your take isn't elevated doesn't mean it's not important. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll talk to you on Friday.
Deuces.